first or just reading? I'm going to breastfeed as long as Ivy needs to. And Ivy's almost 2 and still nursing. When she outgrows the need, we're done. Hold on. Attachment parenting is a natural approach to parenting, meeting the child's needs. The purpose of it is to strengthen emotional bonds. On a typical day, we spend 24 hours a day together.
As far as our sleeping arrangement goes, we did the crib thing. We let him cry for a minute. It just didn't work. You know, we just felt wrong about it. So we brought him in bed with us. Their needs are met. They're not scared. They're not alone. We've had stints of Dakota and Devin both trying sleeping in their own beds, and it's all worked back into the family bed.
The sex life question comes up often with co-sleep, the sanctity of the marital bed, for example. Well, to us, it's not a material thing. That sanctity is anywhere we feel like having it. If somebody has sex with me in their bed, I kind of feel bad for them.
To school or not to school? Now, that is the question that we're asking today. Now, Dana and her husband, Joe, are what are called unschoolers. In fact, they describe themselves as radical unschoolers, and they say it is cruel and disrespectful to put a child in school. Every kid in America is up cheering right now. They say education happens as a side effect of living life. One of the things that I really hated in school, among many things, as I've said, was history. I thought it was boring and irrelevant, and I said, those are a bunch of dead people. Why do I care? Then I later learned that history tends to repeat itself, and that what happened yesteryear in many respects can predict what's going to happen next year. And so all of a sudden, I had a real interest in that because I want to know what the markets were going to do, what things were going to happen. How are your kids going to learn those kind of things if they're not in a curriculum that presents that?
It's just like you said, you made the connection. You weren't interested in history.
I was 30.
Well, no, but you weren't. But once you found the interest that piqued your, oh, wait, there's a reason I should know some of this, you embraced it, and you probably liked it more than you hated it.
I think it's internal motivation, again, and I think schools feel as though they have all the knowledge of the world locked up in that building, but you can find anything you can learn in school, you could find somewhere else. You could find on the computer, you could find in books. There's so many resources. Devin knows as much as any child in school, but he's learned it in different ways. So unschooling isn't anti-school by any means. It's just alternatives to the way that children traditionally learn with somebody standing in front telling them facts.
Do they not need to learn to work in a scenario that is mainstream society?
They can learn those skills in other places, though, other than school. As far as teamwork, the children Devin played soccer with the town league. I mean, there's so many other scenarios where children are working with others. It just doesn't have to be in school.
Okay, well, I want to hear from some of the teachers in the crowd. Where's Etta?
I disagree. Obviously, I take a different point of view for a couple of reasons. First of all, the public school system is like a biological entity. It's a living thing. It changes, it adapts. You receive students that come from everywhere, the diversification, and I believe that the school accomplishes two things. First of all, it teaches comprehensive skills, cognitive skills. Also, it's a socialization. The fact that the boys and girls are learning how to get along with students from everywhere.
Do you worry about socialization being missing, and do you worry about them getting a very one point of view exposure from you parents?
Not at all. I feel like it's our job to give our children as much of the world as possible, not keep them in this little box of our ideals. We give them as much of the world as possible. We have homeschooling support groups that we get together with every week with other people, not just unschoolers. Other, traditional homeschoolers as well. Our children are in group settings with people from all different backgrounds. So
I gotta tell you, about 7th grade, my kids came in and threw down a math book and flipped open to page 5 and said, "Dad, can you help me with this?" I'm like, "No, I can't help you with that because I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know that. What, are you kidding me?"
And in your line of work, you don't need to know that. And in a lot of lines of work, you don't. But you didn't need to know what was on that page for this job. And we're assuming that if they need to know, I'm self-employed. I knew when I had my other job what I needed to do there. And when I became self-employed, I had to go and learn all those things that I did then. And then, it's just a self-taught, much more motivated and faster than a stigmatized school that looks down on the shunned or the people that can't keep up and praises and rewards the people that can. I mean, I lived through it. I've seen it. I was
That's
there.
what I mean. You are kind of anti-school.
No, I don't think we are, though, as much as...
It has to do with free choice, though. It has to do with putting a child in school against their will. I don't think it's true freedom to do that to somebody.
They're children.
That's right, and I think that in this culture, we think we live on a different social plane. Why don't children deserve the same respect as adults in their choices?
Because they can't predict the consequences of their actions yet. They're children.
But
I mean, see, children's brains aren't finished growing yet. They don't have an experience base. A child can't predict what happens if I do or don't do this. And so parents have to guide that. That's why you don't let children make those decisions. That's why they're not on an equal plane. That's why you don't treat children as equals, and there has to be a leadership role in the family structure, because they're just, it's like taking a puppy out that's never seen a car before and let them run into the street. They can't do that. They have to have some experiences first. And children have to have an opportunity to grow and learn from their experiences before they start making the decisions. Next, parents who say unschooling is controlling and communistic, and a mother who says school offers children a subpar education. We'll be right back.
I believe that homeschooling is good for families who don't want to create automatons or factory workers, and who want their families to make a difference in the future.
I fully support the public schools. It's a comprehensive education. It's also the socialization. They're learning to get along in a diversified society.
The best parts of homeschooling, the kids get to ask questions, they get to move at their own pace, you get to make sure that God is part of their lives. I'm a public school teacher, and teachers are constantly undergoing training to better educate the students of today. I believe that homeschooling would have a difficult time providing the expertise that teachers in the public schools can do.